Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to another episode of Trudge Report. We are a recovery-based podcast, but don't worry, if you are not sober or you're not ready to be sober, we talk about plenty of other things, including sports, trending topics, and a good bit of nonsense. My name is Shawn, and I am your host. I am joined by my good friends and esteemed colleagues, fellow Trudgers, Bill, Corey, and Greg. Remember, you can check out new episodes of Trudge Report every Tuesday. We will release them on your listening platforms, Apple, Spotify, or wherever else you may get your podcast every Tuesday for download and streaming. And if you'd like to see all of our pretty faces and look at how handsome we are, you can watch us every Friday on YouTube and Facebook. But please remember to like and download on all your listening platforms. We are brought to you by our wonderful producer, Miss Janine Stella Mix Podcast Management. You can find us on all social media outlets at Trudge Report Pod. Again, that is at Trudge Report Pod. Good to be here. We're doing this on a Wednesday evening, a little different. We got some of the boys are traveling to some new undisclosed locations this weekend. Good evening, everybody. How we doing?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Good.
See, that was very good. We did good there. Hey, I just want to say real quick, Shawn, that
Corey, you have something you want to say? Go ahead.
May I share?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
No.
Go ahead.
I know we encourage people to listen to us on the platforms and everything, Spotify, Apple, and stuff. But I also want to encourage them, like you mentioned, that they need to pop up the video and see the damn faces that we make at them every week. Because I make sure to make a few. And I also like to fucking flex.
He does. He does. If you are listening to this right now and you have never watched us, the faces are interesting. Greg usually is in, I think he's in a pair of like aviator, like spaceship sunglasses today.
Well, that's Macho Man Randy Savage.
These are.
Wait till he
these
stands
are,
up. You're really gonna see what he's wearing. The dun-dun-duns.
Nothing.
Just the T-shirt that says Cleveland AF.
It's all organic,
That's
yeah.
right, baby.
The real story here is shout out to Corey's bicep. I mean, put that thing back up there, Corey. Let's see that.
It's getting there.
That's a progressing bicep right there.
It was a mushy little sack of mashed potatoes a few weeks ago.
Personal trainer he's got you right in the right spot, man. That's good. Looking good.
I ate
Corey
2 chicken breasts
Gunsmoke, dude.
today.
Gunsmoke, Shogun.
Corey
Shogun.
Gun Show, yeah.
Solid.
Very good. It's bigger than his hand. His bicep is bigger than his hand is now. So
it's gonna look weird if they get any bigger.
Shout out to the Florida Panthers. They pulled it off. Many people, including some on this pod, were doubting them. I was not one of them. I knew they would pull it in. Low key, maybe not even low key. They're really good at, like, I don't know what you call it, so forgive me, but like when they trap the puck along the wall and they just like keep it there, they're also really good at getting the puck from the other team when they're on the wall. Like, really good.
So I was watching that at the gym, so maybe I didn't see, but like, Bill, did you watch the end of that game?
I did
not. I fell asleep.
They had the puck basically covered for a good 5, 6, 7 seconds. I don't know.
I saw that.
It was more than that. I think it was like 12 or 15.
I'm waiting for them to stop it with, like, 3 seconds left or something, but like they didn't stop it. They just let the clock run out.
Would they normally stop that?
I don't. If the ref can't see the puck,
I mean, because to me that's just like,
it's supposed to be a frozen puck.
Yeah.
2 seconds. If the ref can't see the puck for 2 seconds, is frozen.
Well, maybe it popped out and and whatever. But they're just really good at that. Like,
yeah,
that's what I noticed. That's what I took away from that game. They're really good and gritty. And Edmonton was definitely the more skilled and faster team, but
doesn't matter. It was exciting. It was exciting, and all I could envision is one day I'm going to see that massive pile up of orange jerseys. And that'll be the day.
Edmonton had so many chances, though, like towards the end. So many.
Yeah, they should have won that game, right? And their goaltender played extremely well for the Panthers. These clowns take the freaking Stanley Cup right in the ocean. I mean, they don't deserve a Stanley Cup.
Really?
Send that thing back to Canada where it belongs.
All right, Jaylen Brown lost his NBA championship ring during the parade, so.
Well, no one was at the parade, so it's probably still on the ground. So
apparently, Matthew Tkachuk, am I saying that right?
And Tatum.
Nobody really knows. Apparently, they went to like middle school together. You guys see that?
Oh yeah, yep, yeah, high school, yeah.
Yeah, and another note from the Edmonton story is the Edmonton girl is on Barstool now. Did you guys see that?
Oh no.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Like they gave her a show.
Like she was hosting with one of the top Barstool guys during the Stanley Cup.
Nice.
So life comes at you fast. One day you're at a playoff game, showing off your natural physique,
showing them milkers off. Boy.
The next thing, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thanks for saying it eloquently for me, Greg.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
The that and then the next
with words.
72 hours later, you're on Barstool hosting a show. That's the life in the fast lane.
Listen,
these days,
you never know.
I'm right.
It was good. I have a new appreciation for hockey. That really was fantastic.
I know you do. You're saying trap the puck, so that was
playoff hockey. Playoff hockey is like its own sport.
Is that not the correct vernacular?
No, that is. That's why.
Oh, it is.
You're really in. You're talking about traps and defensive schemes, and
yeah, dude,
that's good, man. It's a good sport for sure.
It was. So
not like the crappy Bruins. I mean, boring. How boring of a celebration in Boston. Jeez, you're worse than Cleveland.
You mean the Celtics or the Bruins?
The Celtics. The parade, like no one was. Did I say the Bruins?
I was like, wait,
you guys know what I meant. The Celtics.
Oh, Janine, don't start.
Do it, Janine.
I can't do it.
Oh, yeah. That's so. The Celtics, though. I mean, that parade, no one was even at it. It was pretty.
Why? It was one of those things like I don't know. It's like everybody expected them to win. They had to win. It would have been so bad if they didn't. It was kind of like anticlimactic once they did.
Yeah, but if you're a Celtics fan, like show up to their parade. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like that's
call off work, get drunk.
Like say what you will about Cleveland, but when the Cavs,
Philly might be slightly better than Boston. What can I say? And that's saying a lot.
Yeah, but Philly damn near burns their city to the ground.
I'd rather have that kind of.
God.
I think I'd rather have that kind of emotion than the opposite.
Don't they rub the lampposts down so they don't get with like I don't know, grease or something like that, so people don't climb them? And
it's not so they don't climb them. It's just so the challenge can be overcome. That's all.
But now that you mention it too,
that makes so much sense, Corey.
It was equally pathetic by the Panthers because like Florida fans, there's just a lot to do in Florida. You know what I mean? So it's just like there was like two people chasing the Panthers around at a bar, and like everyone else was probably like, "Oh, that's great, we won a championship," and they just went home, and that was it. Like
that crowd seemed electric.
Unfortunately, though, like as much as I enjoyed it, hockey is just not the top sport anywhere. It's not even the second top sport. You know what I mean? Yeah. It really isn't. Not around Florida, anyways. Definitely not Florida. True. And most other in the U.S.
But one thing I will say though, and I think I would say that we would all agree, having being from other places and being fans of other sports organizations, like it just does seem like football, baseball, wherever in Florida, it's just because there's such a mix of people down there from all over the place, but you don't have like the hardcore diehard fans, it seems.
Of any
yes,
sport,
they're there. They're there for sure, but it's not like it is at a lot.
It's not like Boston or Philly or Cleveland or
Pittsburgh.
There's no sports town in Florida.
I'm the prime example of that. You know what I mean? I have all my sports teams and college teams and pro teams are all over the place just because I'm not from here and I'm from an area that we don't even have a professional team, in Virginia. So,
yeah, right. That's viewed as sacrilegious where I'm from. Like you can't pick teams from other logistic.
No, you just don't.
What if you don't have teams?
Like NBA, I don't have an NBA team, but we're not rooting for LeBron or anything like that. We're just, hey, there's basketball over there. Cool.
Yeah,
just don't.
It's real depressing. We get angry about it.
That is kind of depressing.
We put it into the Steelers mojo. We roll it in for the winter.
I feel like a Pittsburgh professional basketball team would just be like shanking people on the
just tackling everybody.
Yeah, like oh, this isn't hockey. All right, guys. So we are gonna do a little personal favorite songs tonight, and if we have time, a little overrated. You can kind of really go any direction you want. We each have our own allotted time. I'm gonna kick it off just because I'm ready to go, and I'm gonna make it quick and maybe give a few laughs. I put a lot of thought into this, and there's a lot of I was down Nostalgia Street yesterday. I was driving back from a middle of the road nowhere boonies undisclosed location for work, coming back to my where I live, and about a 45-minute drive yesterday. I was in Nostalgia Land, but the route I took was my top three are songs. They are some of my favorites. I could probably throw other favorites in there, but they are songs that had a specific impact at a specific time in my life. So I'm gonna start backwards. Iris from Goo Goo Dolls. I love me some Goo Goo Dolls, dude. I love Iris. I was about 2 years sober. I think I was either just a little less than 2 years sober or a little more than 2 years sober. I had just gotten my license back. I was in the T-Bird. I was flying down Canner Highway faster than I should be. Sorry, mom. Had the windows down. It was like a November, like kind of cool outside. I was on the phone with my good friend, rest in peace, Brian Beatty, and we were heading to, I forget where we were heading, but it was something kind of recovery party or a bunch of people in recovery. But I remember like being really excited to go and flying down Canner Highway. And this is going to sound really cheesy, but I was free, like freedom, complete, absolute freedom, not a care in the world. I was sober, life was good, and it just was like one of those moments. It kind of just it rang my bell big time, and I've always liked that song, but that was like I don't know, I love that song. My next one is Mr. Jones, Counting Crows. Most of you already knew that. That truly is probably one of my favorite songs, like just all time. When I got home from Jamaica, I went back to high school and I went to this little small Christian school. And I fit in. My cousin went there. I knew some of his friends, but I'd been in Jamaica for the last year and a half and just kind of, I definitely felt like slightly out of place, I think. And they all knew I liked that kind of music and a couple other, and then we had chapel every Wednesday. And I guess he would be like considered my cousin-in-law's brother. His name was Will. He played guitar for the chapel, and he could rock, man. He was a very good guitarist. He was in a band here and there. And we walked into chapel one day and he started playing that song on the guitar, and he like shouted out, I was like, "This is for you, Shawn." Like, and that was kind of like just getting home from Jamaica. It was kind of my first real, I was accepted again back into life in the real world, into the United States, I guess you could say. But it was an impactful moment for me because I was the strange kid from a foreign country. Not really strange, but just my story was very strange. And as much as I lean into that now and even did back then, it was important to kind of have that I don't know, it just made me feel comfortable. And that's I just love that song so much. And then we're going way back is a song called Home Again from, you know it, Mr. John Denver. It's not a bit. I love it. It was a song so when we lived in Virginia, my cousins lived in like Kitty Hawk, Nags Head area. And the way we took, it was like an hour and 15 minutes to their house. And we had to travel through like very rural land from Virginia, North Carolina, a lot of farmland, a lot of just kind of, I don't know. And my mom loved John Denver, and she had this cassette tape of him with a bunch of his songs. And that was one of the songs on there called Home Again. And it's just a really cool song. I'll send it to you guys just so you have it. But it's just one of those that like gets you in the feels. I get a little emotional when I hear it because it was at a point in my life. I was young, but I was just becoming old enough to kind of like not understand what life was all about, but sense that there was something more than just like having ice cream after dinner every night and like watching TV. I was starting to sense that there was more to life. I was probably, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, and just kind of starting to just kind of have perspective on the world, as weird as that sounds at a young age. So those are my three: Home Again, John Denver, Mr. Jones, Counting Crows, and Iris, Goo Goo Dolls. So that's it.
I love John Denver, dude.
I do too, bro. I got super down the rabbit hole yesterday with his songs. He's
John
got
Denver,
some great ones.
He's just like, I don't listen to John Denver for long periods of time, and then when I do, I'm just like, God, this is
what he is?
Good stuff.
You know what he is? He's every one of us. Like, he wasn't super attractive necessarily. Like, he wasn't.
Whoa! Hold the phone.
No. Like, he was attractive, but he wasn't like this long-haired, whatever type. He was just kind of a normal-looking dude. He had glasses. Like, you could even say
I thought he looked like a geek.
looking.
Actually,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, you could kind of say that he didn't. to me, he's
Where
just
do I see
like
what this guy looks like? Hold on.
he's every one of us.
Never seen
He's,
John
he's
Denver?
every man.
He looks like every youth pastor in Iowa.
Boy Scout leader.
That's what I mean. Like he's just kind of like we all knew somebody like him, I bet. He was fantastic. He was good. So that's mine. I love it. My mom's gonna love that. Shout out to my mom. And shout out to Grandma's Featherbed, which is another one of his songs. So who wants to go next? Greg, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right.
Take it. I will say that these are not necessarily like my favorite songs of all time by any means. When I first kind of was spitballing ideas for this and like threw this into just a random thread with all of us on what we could do, I was thinking about like what's our best hype songs, right? So that's kind of like what I went with. I spend a lot of time in the gym. I enjoy it, and I definitely need music. I'm one of those people, like, you will not find me in the gym without a pair of headphones on. I have to have them. So these are like my get hype songs. But I will say that like probably my favorite songs of all time is probably like something by Dave or Led Zeppelin or a combination of the two. That's my kind of music. But this is my hype list. So I'm going to start with a couple honorable mentions. We got the Deftones. Passenger is a phenomenal song. Also, Tool is one of my favorite bands. They're probably their best song in my opinion is 46 and 2. If you get into lyrics and everything like that, the cool thing about 46 and 2 is a lot of the stuff that we do in recovery and talk about in recovery. The lyrics are like on point with kind of like a spiritual journey. Just crazy riffs and everything on there as well. So, also anytime I can cue up the old DX theme song, which was actually the song that Corey and his wife came out to at their wedding. I mean, that thing gets me hyped to the moon, right?
Seriously, Greg, you listen to that in the gym?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
dude.
I
You will
have
throw the DX song on.
Oh,
in the
dude,
gym.
I'll walk around. I'll
Salute,
I'll
my
spit
boy.
water at people like Triple
That's
H.
awesome.
I don't care.
I love it.
Triple H has nothing but bangers for
Absolutely, yeah. Triple H's theme song, Stone Cold's theme song. Come on, dude. It'll get you. If you need to just get that weight just up just a little bit more, that'll get you right there. I'm telling you.
You got to do the Road Dogg intro then too.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, that's when I'm walking in. That's when I'm walking in. I got somebody to impress.
I like it.
All right. So my top three. Sleep Now in the Fire by Rage Against the Machine. That was a tough one. I love Rage Against the Machine. They're a classic band. But that's probably like my favorite, like, get up and go song. The White Stripes, Seven Nation Army is, again, probably a little overrated in some people's opinion, but I love that song. I got mad love for that song. Are you saying it's overrated?
It's overrated.
In your opinion? Here's the thing I love about the White Stripes.
I would say overplayed, not necessarily overrated. Overplayed.
Yes,
because it came out, always
too many people like it,
and at every single sporting event. One thing I've always loved about the White Stripes, though, and is just the sound that they were able to make with two people. It's a chick on the drums and Jack White on the guitar and lyrics, and so their whole body of work. Obviously, that is probably their most popular song. I love it, but we can.
Isn't it his sister on the? Is it his sister on the drums, or is that wrong? That's not true.
No, that was wasn't it, Corey? Isn't that his ex-wife? I think it's his ex-wife.
I thought they were partners rather than siblings.
They're not siblings. I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I don't care if you love him or hate him, you cannot put on Till I Collapse by Eminem featuring the late great Nate Dogg without wanting to just burst through the fucking ceiling.
Amen,
I feel like
Greg.
When that song comes on, I feel like I could legitimately run through a brick wall. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, anytime I need to, I get real angry at the Stairmaster. I hate that fucking thing, but I get on it and I do my 30 minutes on it, and sometimes that sucker has to play twice during that set just so I can get it over that hump. So that's my top 5 hype songs. I also, for the purposes of doing something overrated, I looked up what is, because I couldn't think of just one. So like, what are the top hype songs, and literally everything that popped up, I'm like, this is just overrated nonsense. So Thunderstruck or Back in Black by AC/DC, stinkers. Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses, trash. Literally anything by Imagine Dragons or Macklemore. Why would you ever even
Radioactive slaps?
You're gonna piss Mark
Wait
off.
a minute. Wait, Macklemore though? You're gonna hate on Macklemore?
Yeah, boy.
What do you got against Macklemore?
I'm just saying it's not good hype music. What did you say?
Oh, hype music.
He's great.
I don't think he's great
I wouldn't
at
say
all.
hype music.
I hated him at first, but he grew on me.
I think
He's
the one
talented.
album was okay, but that's just about it. And very overplayed. Yeah. So yeah, that's me. That's what I got.
How come we always discuss topics that make me want to hang up on you guys?
And I disagree on Thunderstruck as well. That's the jam.
Mm-mm.
No, I hate.
I would say it's overplayed. Like
Very
you just hear it all the time. It's a good, like "Sweet Child of Mine" is a great song. Don't get me wrong.
So too.
I love Guns N' Roses and pretty much everything they did. But even like "Knocking on Heaven's," like they were all overplayed.
But
You know what I
isn't
mean?
Welcome to the Jungle played way more than Sweet Child of Mine? I mean, I've heard
Possibly,
like,
yeah. That's definitely one. That's definitely one that's overplayed as well. But they have some other ones that are just like
they're overplayed.
phenomenal.
You're right. It's like,
Guys,
all right, let's get some.
I have a quick mea culpa, and I can't believe I did this. I screwed up royally, guys.
Yes.
It's not Iris. It's Name. Goo Goo Dolls' Name.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Name
I don't
is
know
a
why.
love ballad.
Well, Iris is I love
good
Iris
song,
is a great
but
song
it's-
as well,
that's-
but it's sorry
Yeah,
about
dude.
that. And I totally man. I
Name, sing that one,
Name.
Sean. I don't know that one. That means I don't know all 3 of your songs.
No,
I didn't know 2, but now I don't know all 3.
Dude, Name is the best. It's basically
that's
I think
the
it's about like a foster kid of some sort. Of that kind of a kid without a home. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right, I'll check it out after the show.
Sorry about that. I'm done.
I don't know. So this remember we were texting the other day and I was like, I literally said, let's do the songs. That's easy.
This will be easy.
It's easy. It's not easy, actually.
It's not. It's so. Listen, Corey, you got to get out of your mind like actually picking your top 3 favorite.
No, I got a couple, but I'm just saying it wasn't easy.
That's why I went with like the experiences I had attached to each of those songs.
I can't remember most experiences, but so I know I have to pick one by the Beatles because they're the greatest band to ever live and my top band of all time for sure. I'm going with an easy one. Honestly, every Beatles song could. I have a dog right here in my face.
You can't do that. You can't just say every.
I'm not saying it. Sean. All right. I'm gonna go with "Let It Be." Just because it's a beautiful song. I think it's a perfect song.
It is beautiful. It is perfect. It's also overplayed.
And like, for whatever reason, I have this childhood memory of. I don't know what the context was, but my mom had told me once upon a time that "Let It Be," maybe when I was playing it or something, "Let It Be" was like the first song that she ever like slow danced to, like at her 8th grade dance or something. And that's why I had it for the mother-son dance at my wedding, because 1, I couldn't think of another one, and 2, I just thought, I don't know, means something to her, and I loved the song. And I also used to play it with my buddy Ed, who passed away, and so it has some sentimental value.
Look here, Ed.
Look here, Ed. He's dead. He can't look here, Sean.
Jeez. All right,
you do remember that inside joke, right, Corey?
Salute to Ed.
Yeah,
and John.
You do remember? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what went on there. I don't know if that was pre-rehearsed between you guys, but all right.
No, I don't. Next is I also knew I had to pick a song off of my top album of all time. I also think this album is. We probably discussed it before, maybe on here, but it's a perfect album, and that album is "The Wall" by Pink Floyd. And I'm gonna go with "Goodbye Blue Sky," because that too. I'm picking some slow ones tonight, but it's just beautiful songs. You know what I mean? Just eloquently written songs. And And lastly, I will go the easy route. I wasn't even going to pick a Dave song, but I mean, Greg, what would you think my third song is if it's a Dave song?
I mean, it was mine too. It was Two Step for sure.
Yeah, Two Step.
It's a great tune.
I mean, I can't even say anything about Two Step. You just got to listen to it. Yeah. There ain't nothing like that bass hitting with the horns. Nothing like it.
Right, and again, if you're a lyrics person, I mean, it's like just the recipe for good living.
You know what? A little background I can give on that, Greg. I don't know if I fully appreciated that song until West Palm Beach 2019 when we got it. We got that for, remember, he played it the second song of the night. He played it.
Yeah.
But not only that, but you had posted you had checked in at the amphitheater on Facebook or whatever, and you literally captioned it, "Life is short but sweet for certain." And I was like, what a freaking line that is. And then I just really got into Two Step after that, and it's been my favorite song ever since.
It's the truth, man.
It's the truth. So I don't have an overrated, but I do agree. Man, I hate hating on AC/DC just because they're icons in their own right, but I can't do it. I can't do most songs by them. It's so redundant. Every damn song. It's just different chords, but it's still 3 chords. So
listen, if I was pounded Miller High Lifes and driving a T-Bird with a mullet and
brother,
and a pair of shorts, I would love
easy on the T-Bird, okay? Easy on the T-Bird.
Let me do one more honorable mention here, and I'll shut up. Actually, this has nothing to do with anything except the fact that I just want to say it. Wonderwall is not that bad of a song. It gets a really bad rap.
Listen,
I'm
dude,
just
it's
saying.
Great.
It might be overrated
again.
Might be overplayed. I promise. Last thing I'm going to say.
Oasis had some other great songs, though, dude.
Way better songs, but still Wonderwall.
What about the guy suicide and all that?
Great
song.
Dude, I've seen Oasis twice, and both times a phenomenal show. Like they have so many great
How to
songs.
Save a Life. That's what it is. How to Save a Life.
No,
great.
That's the Fray.
Song.
That's the Fray.
Damn it! I'm all over the place tonight. Damn it.
So, Shawn, I was in my first rehab, and there was about 40 people in this rehab, and everybody
play that song all the time.
No, I had my guitar, right? And everybody was having a pretty bad day, and the counselors were dealing with something in the hallway or whatever. So they were like, "Corey, go get your guitar." And I was like, "Okay." So I went and got the guitar, brought it back. We're all in a circle, big circle, because we were talking about our feelings or something that wasn't going to get us sober anyway. But, and they're like, "Can you play for us?" And I said, "Sure." And what did I break out?
Not going to get you sober either.
Anyway, I said, "Anyway, brother, here's Wonderwall," and I broke out Wonderwall, and I wish you guys could have been there because it was iconic. I was like, "Now everybody sing it." I was a rock star in that place.
That is one, I have probably a 5 memes that I will always share if I ever see him, and the Hulk Hogan "Anyway, brother, here's Wonderwall" is one of them.
Who remembers
You can just hear his voice when you read it. It's like
who remembers the time on the mountain where remember Jacob? Jacob had his guitar that one time. And
he was God.
Outside, it was cold out. It was awesome, man.
And all the old heads hated our guts.
It was awesome.
I think Ross joined them too. They did a little concert.
Yeah, Ross was really into
the old timers got real mad. What was it, Greg?
I think Ross was jamming out some Seether.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Ross and I used to play some Trapped. We used to play Trapped a little bit.
Headstrong.
Headstrong. Still Frame. It was good.
That song gets me hyped. That'll get me hyped.
Ross and I went to see Trapped once in West Palm.
Really? They were.
I think it was at a strip club or something. I was in my first year. I don't think we knew either.
They literally played Stewart not that long ago. I was like, wow.
On Ocean, I saw that.
How far they've fallen if they're playing Stewart.
No, seriously, they're playing a bar in Stewart, not Terra Firmata, not the music venue, a freaking bar. I'm like,
who Trapped?
Yeah.
Well, they had there's some, I forget why Homeboy, the lead singer, got canceled a couple years ago, but they had quite the
fall from grace.
Dive. Yes, indeed. I think you got to have grace to fall from it, but yes, something along those lines. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, I digress.
All right, Bill.
All right, I'll let it rip.
This is gonna be
My
good.
stuff's all hip hop, guys. You know, I grew up listening to rap music. I was a DJ, aspiring rapper. I was in the music scene for a lot of my life growing up. So I mean, I'm gonna try to cover. Corey is correct though. This is really hard, and a lot of this is contingent on my mood. Like my favorite songs at 5 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon are completely different. Maybe I'm bipolar, but I don't know. Anyway, so for me, I'm gonna do ones people would know. So Little Peep Save That is one of the best club like songs that I can listen to in my truck at any time. Underground like hip hop that I like, DMX, The Locks, Cormega, if you know, you know, Mobb Deep, most Chicago drill music, it can make the list for me too. Even today in my car, nothing to do with this. On my way home from work, I'm off professional call. I go right into Chief Keef, right into Sosa. You know what I mean? That's just what we do, and I enjoy it. Um, I also have to say the local Pittsburgh rap scene to me is special. Of course, you have Mac Miller, who was kind of in the same circle of people I was around, and that his favorite song of mine would be Red Dot Music. You got Kalichi, who has a song called Drug Addiction. It's a very big song online, and it's a very good song. It's about the perils of drug addiction. He's been sober almost as long as me now, up in Pittsburgh, but same thing, ran in the same circles and stuff like that. There's a group called the 58s there that I liked a lot till one of my friends that was in that group passed away. I digress on that, but so all those kind of I have so many different songs. Eminem has to make the cut for me. The nostalgia of it, just loving it as younger. I'd say my favorite song, I'm going to go with Kill You. You know, that's the way to start an album right there. If you know, you know. That to me was like one of his more creative songs that really kind of got things real crazy for him. Later in his career, I don't know about that. The songs that make me cry, I'm going to go with Growing Up by Macklemore with Ed Sheeran in it. It's about raising your kids, and it is absolutely fantastic. I cannot listen to that song without crying. One Last Dance with You Mama by my boy Nas, N-A-S, Nostradamus, from Queens, New York, Shawn. And Miley Cyrus, The Climb. That was one of my mom's favorite songs in recovery, and that song is near and dear to my heart, boys. Also, CCR, Have You Ever Seen the Rain? My boy Kid Rock, God Knows Why. They all make the list for when I need to let go of some tension and all that stuff. So the number one song for me, this is an easy choice, boys. In celebration of 4th of July, it is clearly the Star Spangled Banner. That's right. The guy wrote the song as the British were bombing Fort McHenry in Baltimore, and it's an ode to the greatest country in the entire universe. That's right, the United States of America. You can't get any better than that song. Correct me if I'm wrong. Played in every stadium. There's a reason why. Let's go, USA.
Yeah. Hot take. Our national anthem should be like America the Beautiful.
No, come on, man.
Just
It's the
saying.
Star Spangled Banner. The guy wrote it like
It should be America from P.D. Pablo.
Also, with all due respect to old Francis Scott Key, if my military base is getting bombarded and I'm writing a fucking song in the basement, something's wrong, dude.
he was the
Get your
OG
ass out
liberal,
there.
dude.
It was the OG liberal, yeah.
He's like, you know what? I gotta write an artsy tune to this. I got a little ballad I'm gonna make, and then so yeah, those. Oh, and also that's in celebration of 4th of July. We want to make sure you guys have a safe and fantastic 4th of July. By the way, shout out to 4th of July week because that's when this will be out. Overrated songs. I mean, any new mumble rap song drives me nuts. I can't stand it. They ruined rap music a long time ago. Mumble rap's terrible. Imagine by John Lennon's got to take the cake, though. I mean, absolutely.
Well, there's a good one.
Horrific song by John Lennon. I mean, Oko Yono ruined that man, broke him into a million pieces, and the other guy finished him off.
Are you saying Imagine's overrated?
Yeah, the worst.
You know
You're
what?
muted, Shawn. You're muted, Shawn.
Is Yoko Ono a man?
That's his
No.
princess.
No, it's
that
his
was the
wife.
girl he
That's why.
married.
Okay, I thought that's what I thought. I thought you just said Yoko. I don't know. I thought you just
No, I
referenced
said that
Yoko
one
Ono as
right.
a man.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I think you pronounced the name slightly wrong, but yes, it was.
I said Yoko Ono. What is it?
You said
I don't
Ono
know.
Yoko is what you
Yeah.
said.
Did I say Yokozuna?
Said something about Sunoco, boy.
Yoko Yakajima.
I
It's
love
all right,
John Lennon too.
I got my songs wrong, so it's okay, Bill.
Yeah, hey, it is what it is. But I thought you guys could really, Shawn, you'd really like the Cormega part of that and the Mob Deep and all that. So that was for you. If you know, you know.
Very good. That was good. I think, you know what? One of the things I think we should do at some point is a deep dive on like a specific band or group or artist or something, and just kind of like really, like, I just listened to a long thing about Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, and it wasn't all good. It wasn't all like saying he's the best. It was kind of both sides of the argument of, and I don't know. I find that stuff kind of fascinating. It was a podcast I listened to. So
I got a
Janine
band.
said it.
Maybe we should do
Janine
that.
said her name was Yoko Hoktui. Shawn.
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw
got a-
that.
I got a
Okay.
band we can deep dive, Shawn. They're called Given Up. They're out of Salem County, New Jersey. The guitarist was strung out. Went to Florida for rehab.
Cool.
That's the story.
Is it you? Oh, it's you.
No.
Oh,
That
it
would've
is
been
him.
funny.
It totally
Is it
is. I think that is him. Yeah, it is. You're so full of it.
you? What's the name of the band?
Given
Strung
Up.
out. Oh,
Past tense.
Given Up?
Our logo was a noose, which would not fucking fly today. Yeah.
Damn.
It probably shouldn't have flown back then. We're not talking about that long ago.
I got in trouble. I got in
Yeah.
trouble at school for wearing some merchandise once, but it would definitely not fly post 2020. That's for sure. Get it?
Love
Given Up. It was a suicide thing. It wasn't a nice picture anyway, but that's what we did. So we didn't care much about anything back then.
you tortured poet. You.
Yeah.
I'm interested to listen to it, so please send me a link or something. Let me
No,
get a
I'd be
Spotify,
interested. I'd be
SoundCloud.
interested. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Napster, whatever it's on.
Yeah, what MySpace, whatever it is.
We
What was
were a
before
cover
Napster?
band.
There was the other one.
We were a
You were
cover
a
band.
cover band?
So just look up any 90s alternative rock and you can listen to us. We did
I wanna
Good by
hear
Better
you.
Than Ezra. We did Machine Head by Bush.
I love how he says 90s alternative rock. You were like 8 in the 90s, dude.
Yeah, and I was like
What-
14 when I was in the band.
Actually, he
were
was
you born?
never 8 in the 90s. Weren't you born in 94?
95.
Oh,
Gavin
you were
Rossdale's
never
a
8
douche.
in-
No,
Oh my God.
Rossdale's great, dude.
Gavin? Not Gavin. Yeah, we did.
Bill,
all sorts of
Bill,
shit.
I don't know. I didn't know who like half the people you said were.
Yeah, I didn't
They're
catch
good.
on to
I know
anything
some.
until you said
I know
Mac Miller.
I know Nas. I know a few, but
Kalichi, check out Drug Addiction. You got all
Don't
three
know
of you guys will
Kalichi.
like that song. That's a really good song. Because it's
Lil-
personal. You guys would like it.
Lil Peep.
You don't know who Lil Peep is?
Yeah,
I've heard of
Died
Lil
about
Peep.
22 drug overdose or something, but his music was
Hey.
good, man. He was like the Kurt Cobain of rap music. Like he was
Don't
like emo.
ever do that again.
He's better than Kurt Cobain. You're right.
Well,
I'm
hey,
sorry.
I
Lil
think
Peep.
Kurt Cobain.
I'm sorry, Little Peep. You were better than Kurt Cobain, a guy who mumbled about nothing and made no sense. And then
Ugh.
I think
God,
Kurt
it's
Cobain was
over.
overrated. Personally, I was not
Yeah.
I was not a huge fan. I understand what he did for music. I truly do, and I give it to him credit for that. But I don't. I was never a huge fan.
I
Like,
think he
you
was
just-
overrated as a lyricist because his lyrics didn't make any sense, but the sound was great, and the
What do you mean?
grunge sound.
it made total sense. He said, "I swear I don't have a gun." He was telling us that he didn't do it.
You're right.
They call that
Courtney Cox did
foreshadowing.
it apparently, right?
Yeah.
Courtney
Oh,
Cox,
that's right. We
remember
went
that?
over
Yeah.
this already, didn't we?
Right.
Yeah, Courtney Cox. Hey, you know what else, dude? Is you guys need to look into the YSL trial in Atlanta, the Young Slime Life with like Young Thug and all those
You
guys.
don't know about that, Shawn.
Dude,
See,
I
wow.
do. I've listened to some
Would you have to
podcasts.
study that for college or something?
No. So my golf podcast, they have offshoot podcasts. They're like golf adjacent, they call it, where they talk about literally everything else but golf. And one of them was just they covered the whole. They're from two of the brothers in the podcast are from Atlanta, so they're covering the YSL trial. It's fascinating.
Did you see the lawyer got arrested?
Truly, yes, truly fast. That one guy jumped over the railing and tried to give Percocets to Young Thug during court.
Yeah.
And then there's guys falling asleep on the stand because
It is a show. It's a movie, dude.
It is. It really is.
It is nuts. Did you see the other guy testifying? And he was just like, I don't know. Like he's playing so like acting so stupid. Like he's just like, I don't even know what year it is or something.
Yeah, the one guy was like, I'm so high right now. I don't even know. I need some water. He goes, I just need some water. And then they've introduced, they got YSL now. What is it? I can't say it. It's a bad word. But it's like YFN or something like that. Young.
Is that a different group in YSL?
They're like they're like an offshoot, but they're being it's wild, man.
Well, there's this guy in Florida, South Florida, YNW Melly, and he for some reason shot both of his friends. He's on trial right now, and it's very interesting. And they're trying to give him the death penalty. He's a famous rapper. I mean, went platinum, and he's a psycho too, like how he acts in a courtroom, like smiling, laughing. I don't know, man. Rap. And another thing, let me know, rap is the most dangerous profession you could ever have.
Apparently.
Like, these dudes are getting killed left and right, dude. It is nuts.
I feel like possibly like being an infantryman might be a little bit more dangerous.
Besides that,
but I get what you're saying.
Ukrainian infantryman might have a beat, but
a cop, a Seattle police officer might be. It's fascinating. They're basically the YSL thing, and I know we got to move on, but they're basically on trial, Young Thug and like 25 of his cohorts, because a bunch of people got murdered, and there's lyrics in all their songs that basically are saying like
spell it out,
right? But they're arguing like freedom of speech, and it's the judge like brings his dog to the courtroom. They have like over 400 witnesses. They're 2 years into this thing, and they're thinking it's going to go for another 2.5+ years. Like,
I only rapped about it because I knew I would never actually do it. No. So, that's why I said I shot him with this gun, and it was crazy. This gun.
It's nuts. Yeah. And they're saying that YSL or Young Thug stands for Thug stands for truly humbled under God. That's the argument. It's a show. Yes. We should dive into that. It's a show. So anyway,
is it all on camera?
Yeah.
I think you can stream it, televised? Right? I think so. I think you can stream it, on like YouTube and stuff. There's a whole bunch of like lawyers or ex-lawyers on YouTube that'll like break down every day and all that stuff. But it's fascinating. So
every day is a new episode on that.
It really is. My wife's getting into it now too. But okay. So tonight's recovery segment, spirituality segment, we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of recovery, or the do's and don'ts of service work, right? Service work is a huge part of being sober, especially for us and the groups of recovery that we run around in and we hang out in. Service without sacrifice is really just kind of, it's got to be a little inconvenient, right? Service work should be a little inconvenient at times. When it comes specifically to service work in the recovery community, my mentor, shout out to Papa Ron, basically said like, you should always have some kind of job in recovery, right? We should always have some kind of commitment, some kind of service opportunity, some kind of thing you're doing, whether it's the secretary of a recovery group, the treasurer, making the coffee, which is a very important job, taking the trash out. And then obviously, there's different levels of service work and different committees you can serve on and different districts and stuff like that. But I'm going to leave it kind of there. I can say that I've always had a job in recovery. I still am very active in a lot of different arenas of service work today. I know you guys have been and are as well, maybe not currently, but I know have been throughout the years, sometimes with just your own specific groups and, on different levels and different areas. So I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll pass it around. We're going to start with Corey, and we're going to go Greg, and then Billy can finish that up as well. So go ahead, Corey.
I don't know what to say, although two things come to mind.
Perfect.
This is how I do things with podcasts. You know what? The first thing that comes to mind, by the way, see you later, Bill. Oh, there he is. It's when I talk.
What'd you say?
Understand it. Do's and don'ts of service work. Here's a don't, and we've touched on this before, but let's say it again. If you're not actually sober don't try to help somebody get sober. Well, I won't say don't help somebody get sober, but maybe not guide a real drug addict or alcoholic through the way that you think you should live your own life, because that might kill them, even if it doesn't kill you. I think that's the most obvious thing here. I think that happens sometimes, and it's a little disheartening, especially when especially when you know about it, and people like us. What do? You're gonna put them on blast? I don't know. So anyway, and then the other obvious thing that I I try my best is, we do get the opportunity to do a lot of good and service work in recovery, like Shawn's talking about. Man, the stuff that means the most is the stuff that you're not gonna get widely recognized for, and so
no one ever hears about.
Right. So my other don't would be, don't just do the stuff that people see. Like, people are gonna see stuff that's inevitable. Do the stuff that's unseen, because that arguably is more valuable in your own spiritual life. I have a hard time with that sometimes, because I'm lazy. So if I'm not gonna get a cookie from somebody, I'm not always the first one to jump up and do that kind of stuff. But it's the stuff that goes the furthest for sure. And yeah, I don't know. I want to pass it on, and maybe we can talk more.
Thank you, Corey. Awesome. Go ahead, Greg.
That was good though, and I like that, Corey. Number one, like with what you said, like, don't try and be of. I don't want to say don't try and be of service, but don't try to actively help somebody if your own house isn't in order, right? And that's why, for myself personally, like, I stick very close to the recovery literature that we have. And I tell people that I'm helping or mentoring, like, if something I say to you if you can't reconcile it within the pages of this book, then take that as my opinion only, right? Because I certainly didn't get myself sober, and no human got me sober, right? So what's laid out in our book and our text is what brought me into the spiritual way of living, right? But yeah, again, I like to try and keep it simple, man. Like, if I do, like Shawn said, you should always have a job in recovery. And that was imparted on me very early on, whether it be, at a recovery group, just making coffee or holding the door open for somebody, or just going out of your way to, like, hey, I'm so, and like, that was the most uncomfortable thing for me, is just going up to a random person, be like, hey, welcome, my name is so-and-so. And like, but the more and more I did it, the more and more open I became. And the more people I got to meet, and the more I felt much better about myself, and when you start to take on that kind of stuff, like, I think that's all just, leadership through example, right? When I'm asked to do something, I show up for it. I don't make empty promises in that regard, right? So whether it's one of a friend of mine, or asked me to come speak speak to some people at a detox or rehab center, or whether or not I'm asked to just come along for support, like, and keep my mouth shut, like, I show up today, right? Because I didn't show up for a very long time for a whole lot of people. So I try to do that, and certainly kind of along with what you're saying, like, practice daily humility and all this stuff, right? Because I know, and even on the days when I don't know, and I want a pat on the back, and I want 10 cookies for doing one good thing, I know that none of this is possible with just me on my own, left to my own devices, right? It all comes from a higher power. It all comes from God. And so I try to stay humble about that, grounded about that, take my ego out of the equation. I try not to control or judge people internally or externally for things that that I've been guilty of in the past too. I try to set boundaries with that kind of stuff, and I don't expect perfection. And because that's a big thing. People will let you down every time if you put those expectations there. So, but yeah, biggest thing I do today, and I know I've said it before. I don't mean to sound redundant, but the opposite of what I used to do. So I show up. That's what I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, gentlemen. Come up. All right. So for me, this is one of those, my cup has to overflow. Like once I leave my door frame, like that's all overflow. So anything I'm doing outside there, I better be doing, inside the confines of my own house. If you're new to the service work, helping others in that nature of thing, say the number one rule is do not buy drugs for drug addicts that are requesting them, no matter how bad they're withdrawing or asking for said drugs, for two reasons. Number one, you could get arrested. Number two, you don't want to help somebody do that. So that's an important one. But also, practice what you preach. If you're going to say something, if you're going to tell someone else to do it yourself. The metaphor is treat the janitor the same as the CEO. Treat the homeless bum the same as the most spiritual entity that in human form on this earth. You treat those people the same and good things will happen. Never brag about good deeds. Never boast or overly talk about good deeds when doing them. Do not do a good deed just to brag about it. If I'm gonna personally talk about it, it's probably to try to harness somebody else's ability to do it themselves. Pad the stats, stay active daily in what you're doing, and be creative when you're doing it. So every day, try to figure out a way that you can be a little bit helpful. I start with, please don't let me be harmful, the first, and then let me be helpful shortly thereafter, hopefully, right? And then teach others where and when to give as well, and help them with their efficiency and things like that, and form groups to help people. There's other things, certainly a lot of different ways that I've been able to help in the community in general, animals, people, and everything in between, hopefully. So those are the ones for me, man. There's nothing better than just seeing a person that's really down on their luck and being able to help them out and just maybe making their day. And maybe it doesn't go anywhere at all, and that's fine. But maybe just inside of that moment, that person got to get out of that crap for a second. So, it's someone did that for me, and I've come a long way from that. So it's been something I want to continue to do for the rest of my life, hopefully, if I'm fortunate enough to do so.
Yeah.
That's really it, man. I mean, that's
good stuff, guys. That's a good kind of, each one of us had a bit of a kind of a different take on it a little bit, while all kind of, touching on the same basis. I think logistically speaking, spirit of rotation is important, right? So if I'm talking specifically about like a specific type of job, whether it's some of us get involved in our church, others in our recovery groups, in our recovery communities, or just whatever it is, doing a job for a certain amount of time, and maybe I get really good at it, and then like being humble enough to pass it on and teach the next person so that they can hopefully experience some or all of the good things I've been able to experience with a job. I think one of the biggest things too in different recovery groups is just the dissemination of information, right? So many groups and people just aren't aware of what's going on in the local recovery community, and whether it's in specifically locally in our area, or at a national level, or even a world level. And that's one of the jobs that I do, and I've been doing it for a while, is I just try to help pass information along between different recovery entities. And I'll tell you what, people are extremely grateful just to have been given the information that they may not have already been aware of, or offered some clarification on certain things because sometimes news gets out and it's like the worst game of telephone you've ever had. By the time it gets down to the small little group, the information is so twisted and distorted, it's not even really accurate anymore. So those are important things. Bill, I love what you said, right? And treat the homeless guy the same as the CEO and all that stuff. And it's specifically on a micro recovery group level is that's kind of the whole thing is like there's no big shots in recovery, right? There's no you don't start out small and then work your way up to leader. Like if you get lucky, you start out as a big shot and like we all come in, right? Ego driven, and by the time we're done, we're cleaning out ashtrays and making coffee, hopefully, and taking out the trash. Shout out to Lyle. Lyle passed away many years ago, but he used to say the best job in recovery is taking out the trash. And if you don't agree with me, you haven't experienced it. And there was some profound wisdom in that, And I think the other thing too is whether it's in a civic organization, and Corey, I know you're affiliated with some civic organizations, community stuff, church stuff, or specifically what we're all familiar with is recovery, is that we aren't just putting people in positions of service because we think it's good for them, right? They don't have to be like super knowledgeable yet, but they have to be willing and able enough to serve the group, whatever that group is, whether it's in recovery or in the community or whatever it is. They have to be willing and able to learn how to serve, because it's not so much, I'm going to do this because it's good for me. It's I'm going to do this so that I can set up for the next generation or for the next wave of people or to keep something going. I think that's important and something that gets, extremely overlooked by a lot of people. So
what am I affiliated with?
Aren't you like a Elks Lodge or a Mason or something like that?
No, yeah, my dad's a Mason.
Yeah.
Okay. But you were trying though for a while.
I'm still trying.
Yeah. So, okay.
Get me in, Corey.
I wasn't like off base with that. I don't know if civic organization is the right terminology for that. So I apologize to all the Masons.
I have no idea.
Anyone, but
well, now they're gonna get you, but okay.
So, but I don't know. Those are all some important things, and I love, Corey, you touched on it too, like spiritual anonymity, right? It's about doing good things for people and not seeking the recognition for it, right? So,
yeah.
What else? Anybody else got anything on that? We've got a couple minutes left.
I don't know.
Wow, we're at a loss for words.
No, we could really just hawk to and spit on this thing, man. We wrapped it up pretty
You
good.
ruined it. You ruined it. You ruined it. Edit that out, Janine.
I made it better.
I want to tell you guys I learned how to ride a motorcycle since I've been here.
So. Really? That's impressive.
Yeah, I never did it before.
Harley?
Oh yeah, it is.
No,
it's a crotch rocket, but
oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. You got to learn how to ice skate, bud. It's going to start snowing up there pretty soon. You're going to get a little iced over. Okay, yeah, there you go. That's right.
Yeah, I'm all set.
He's a hockey player.
How does your wife feel about you on a motorcycle?
She was pissed when I took it out for a little spin without a helmet on. But
without a helmet. I'm new here. I should try this with no helmet.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I did.
Let's just full send this back.
If I go quick. Yeah, that way.
Corey, I was a little pissed at you too, to be honest with you.
Were you pissed?
Mm-hmm.
I am too, honestly. I hate motorcycles.
Next time, just say something. Yeah. I've worn it since. I'm not a guy that would you won't if I ever have a bike, you're not gonna catch me riding around without a helmet on.
Just the first time you ride it.
Just the first time I ride it.
They are dangerous.
I'd get one with a big spike coming out the top.
What, motorcycles? Are you
just don't get the ones where the people wear like the baby face helmet. Those are so or the clown face. Those are so creepy.
yeah, lame.
Super creepy.
That's dumb. Yeah.
Super creepy. Yeah. So well, boys,
excellent.
That's a show. Unless somebody else has anything they want to say, that is a show.
No, we only have 20 seconds left.
Real quick, does anybody know who the best team in baseball is right now?
Yeah,
don't worry.
Well, what do you mean by right now?
As of this moment.
Did they win
best record?
one more game?
Yes, correct.
Phillies?
Do they have the best record, really?
Yeah. The Cleveland
sure?
Guardians. Yes.
It was the Phillies last time we talked.
Well, that was a week ago.
That was a week ago, and they play every day. So
well, The
Well, that's
Phillies are at a
ridiculous.
663 win percentage. Cleveland's at a 654, Greg. So you're gonna have to rerun your numbers.
Well, that might be. Did Philly play tonight?
Yeah.
they're playing
and the
one.
Guardians
They won,
lost.
yeah.
Oh, we
And
did lose. All right, yeah. So I digress. It was earlier today.
You had your moment, like 12
We had our
hours
moment.
there. That
We
you,
did.
yeah. You're
I
right.
wish that I knew more about baseball, that I could actually hang my hat on the Phillies and like talk shit, but I just whatever. That's great. I'm glad that go Phillies.
Oh, and
Janine, we're not acknowledging that, Janine.
We can acknowledge it, but
We're not acknowledging that.
we'll say this.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, you may want to tune in to watch two super old white dudes argue for the
It
fate
will be
of the
pretty-
greater.
Control your future.
It will be pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah.
It'll be pretty funny. So
So
man.
tune into that.
some popcorn.
Big UFC fight this weekend too.
just in
Janine
time for
knows.
America's birthday.
That's right.
Happy birthday, America. I didn't even think about it, but we could have shed some more light on that when we were planning the episode. But
We're
you know
a
what?
week early.
But
Well,
when this
kinda.
airs, it's going to be a day
it'll be
before, I
next
think.
Thursday. Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, it's
When
fine.
this airs, it'll be two days.
Yeah,
before,
true that.
but
True that.
we love America. Jesus,
I love the
freedom.
Revolutionary War history. That's my favorite stuff.
I might go listen to Star Spangled Banner after this. Puts me right to bed.
Should we
comfy.
say the Pledge of Allegiance as we go land the plane, guys?
Land
All
the
right,
plane.
listen,
All right.
shout out to our
This thing's
listeners. Shout out to our listeners. Please like, follow, and share on all socials at Trudge Report Pod. Again, that is at Trudge Report Pod. You know it by now. Email us, trudgereportpod@yahoo.com. Send in anything you want. We may or may not talk about it. We also might make fun of it. But if it's serious enough, we will definitely address it, or important enough, or funny enough. We're here. If anyone, anywhere wants to talk about our experiences in recovery, or if you're struggling with anything, whether it's addiction or some other demon, we are definitely here to talk about it. God knows we know more than just addiction. Thank you again to the wonderful, beautiful, eclectic Janine, Stella, and Stella Mix Podcast Management. Good night. God bless. America, Jesus, freedom. See you next week.